It's time now for business. Let's say hello to Kate Moody. We were waiting on these numbers out of South Africa. And yes, the worst, you might say, has been confirmed.
Well, look, we've been talking about huge recessions in many countries around the world for the global economy as well. But this number of the contraction of the South African economy is particularly stunning. Economic activity was cut in half in the second quarter. That's the period from April to June. Statistics South Africa describing this drop as a severe punch in the gut. Now, South Africa was already in recession when it shut down at the end of March in an effort to halt the spread of the coronavirus. After shrinking 2% in the first 3 months of the year, GDP growth contracted a stunning 51% in that second quarter. The tourism industry, as well as mining and manufacturing sectors, all ground to a near complete halt amid what was described as one of the strictest lockdowns in the world. As restrictions are eased, there are signs that the economy is beginning to recover now. President Cyril Ramaphosa saying it's an opportunity to build a new economy and unleash South Africa's true potential. That's a quote from his statement earlier on. Unemployment in South Africa is at a record high, over 30%, and the UN says it could take around 5 years for the economy to return to its pre-pandemic strength. Well, meanwhile, France's National Statistics Office says the bounce back in the period from July to September won't be as strong as previously expected. After the slump of almost 14% between April and June, the French economy will bounce back by around 17% in this quarter. INSEE says that'll be followed by just very little growth in the last 3 months of the year, and that the economy will finish the year 9% smaller than it was when it started 2020. Well, meanwhile, the French government is investing 7 billion euros in hydrogen as a fuel source. The money will go towards finding greener ways of producing that fuel and developing new uses for it, including in trucks and even planes. Camille Nedlek has more.
Filling up the tank could soon become high-tech and low emissions if a government plan to boost the use of hydrogen in France succeeds.
L'hydrogène comme énergie de la France. Voilà un projet qui apparaissait il y a encore peu de temps comme une promesse lointaine et qui vient de prendre une dimension très réelle depuis quelques jours. Donc ne pensons pas que l'hydrogène résoudra tout, mais il est certain que l'hydrogène est une opportunité stratégique pour massifier et accélérer la décarbonation des secteurs et des activités les plus difficiles à décarboner, en particulier dans l'industrie et les transports.
The government will invest over 7 billion euros over the next decade to boost hydrogen production and consumption. That includes investment in developing hydrogen-powered trucks and encouraging its use in the chemicals and agriculture industries. The plan will reduce France's emissions by 6 million tonnes of carbon per year from 2030. It's a key way of achieving carbon neutrality by 2050. This delivery van in Grenoble has already made the switch. It's pricier than petrol, but also greener.
Vous n'émettez pas de CO2, vous consommez donc déjà pas de carburant. Vous ne pouvez pas imaginer le silence déjà.
Several French towns are already using hydrogen-powered public transport, and hydrogen-powered trains are due to come into service in 2025. But that's set to be a major challenge, as most of the hydrogen in use today actually comes from fossil fuels. A key part of the plan is to switch to greener methods of production.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. The major European indices closed lower as tech stocks continued to slump. The CAC 40 lost over 1.5% here in Paris. London's FTSE 100 was just below the flat line at the closing bell. The French utility EDF saw its shares drop around 8%, while the UK's Royal Mail jumped 25%. Wall Street seeing another sharp tech-driven sell-off. The Nasdaq has slumped as much as 3% earlier. It's down just over 2.5% now. The Dow Jones had dropped as much as 600 points. Shares of Tesla have tumbled 15% after the committee that oversees the S&P 500 declined to add it to its index. The electric car company remains on the Nasdaq for now. There are more than 2,000 billionaires in the world, fewer than a year ago, but still worth a record-breaking $3.2 trillion. That's according to Forbes' annual ranking of the richest people. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos tops the list for a third year in a row with a fortune of over $113 billion. He's followed by Microsoft's Bill Gates and the LVMH tycoon Bernard Arnault, who replaced Warren Buffett in that top three. The numbers were calculated back in March, and many, including Bezos, have actually seen their worth rise since then as their company's stocks gained in value. There were 178 newcomers from 20 countries on that list, including the founder and CEO of Zoom Video Services. 241 women are listed. Donald Trump, meanwhile, still on that list. He, though, saw his ranking fall from 375th last year to about 252nd. That was as his real estate empire took something of a hit. Of course, the American president, Francois, still declines to release his tax returns, but this is Forbes' calculation of what he's worth, even in the White House.
We'll see if Forbes got it right. Thanks for that.
We may or we may not.
Or maybe not.